Hey, welcome back. In this video we'll look at another example, a more complex app which we can build using ChatGPT. This time we want to create an app which reads data from a CSV file and it produces a plot based on the data on that CSV file. So I want to show you the correct way how to explain ChatGPT a more complex program like this. So first of all, as a programmer talking to another programmer, so the other programmer is ChatGPT, you want to know the programming language you want the code to be in and the libraries for that language. But if you don't know the libraries, then you can start the conversation by asking what is the best GUI library. So we want to create a desktop GUI program, right? What is the best desktop GUI library for Python for creating a data visualization graph with other widgets on the GUI? And so there you get a very good answer that gives you an introduction to what tools you can use to build this particular program. So the keywords here are matplotlib as the data visualization library and either tkinter, wx, python or pyqt to build the GUI itself. So the buttons and text boxes. So I'll choose matplotlib and pyqt. So then the next question might be to ask ChatGPT to write the code for you. But before that, in this case, we do have some data. We need a data set, right? A CSV file. So when you write a program, even when you write it by yourself, you first want to know how the data look like. So you want to have a sample file, and then you build your program based on the structure of those data. So let's ask ChatGPT first to create some CSV data containing two columns, a date column and a temperature column. Create some random daily temperature data. Even if you have some typos, don't worry, ChatGPT will understand you. And yeah, that should do it. So submit. And there we go. So that's the CSV file, which you can copy in here. So wait for it to finish first. If you want more data, you can just write a query, oh, I want like 20 rows. And it will regenerate that CSV file for you. So I'll copy the code and go to my IDE. And for each program, you want a separate project. So on PyCharm, I've created a new project here, so I can write a new file. So go to File, type a name for the file, data.csv, press enter, and there you can just paste those data, and there you have a CSV file. So now the next question is to create the GUI, the program. Write an app using pyqt and matplotlib. You don't need to mention Python because these are Python libraries, so ChatGPT knows you're using Python. Where the user can. So you want to think as the user when you ask queries. So you want to describe the program from the user's perspective, what the user can do in this program, which ChatGPT has to write. So where the user can, select a date range, press a button and get a graph of temperature for the selected dates. Get a graph of temperature. Where do you want to get it? On the GUI for the selected dates, because you want to specify, perhaps you wanted just a file to be generated, a JPG file or so on, but you want the graph to be plotted on the GUI itself. The data should be taken from a CSV file which has a date and a temperature column. So that is the query. I do suggest you to read the query again so you are sure that you are asking all the requirements for the program, and yeah, press enter. As we're waiting for the answer to be generated, I would like to point out that it's important to keep all the chats separated, as I've mentioned before. So the previous app was in this chat, now this app was in a separate chat. So that will make the answers more efficient, more accurate. You'll get more accurate answers and you keep your chats organized. And so my code was generated, so I'll copy it, go to PyCharm and try to run it. So create a main.py file. This is a separate project, as I told you, and paste the code there. You may need to install certain libraries, so you'll find those libraries usually here on top. Or you can ask ChatGPT, what libraries do I need to install? Just straightforward. You don't have to say what libraries do I need to install to run that program. So the chatbot knows what you mean. So it gives you the command here. You can just copy it and run it in the terminal. So these are commands which interact with the operating system. So you should run installation commands on the terminal. Now, just a note, PyQt5 doesn't work on Python 3.10 on Mac M1 processors. So you may need to install Python 3.7 if you are on a Mac M1 processor or M2. So once these are installed, you'll see this line here and you should be able to run this program. So right click, go to run. If you have an error, you can ask ChatGPT again about that error. So for example, I've got this file not found error. Now I know what this means, so no such file or directory temperatures.csv. So if you ask ChatGPT for that, it will tell you for sure what the error is. So it explains you what the issue might be. So to resolve the issue, make sure that the file temperatures.csv exists in the same directory as the program specifies in the read CSV function here. So it knows what you're talking about, and yeah, that's the idea. So you should go to the read CSV file. So temperatures should reflect that. So you can just write here data.csv, or I would suggest not to change the code, but to change the file itself. This is better because you have this history here in ChatGPT where your CSV file is named temperature.csv. So it's better to keep that code without changing it. So that's one important tip I'd like to give you. When you are developing a program, try to be consistent with the code that ChatGPT was generating for you. So I'll rename this, go to refactor, rename temperatures.csv, temperatures, refactor, run again. And that's the program. So there we have the date, inputs, and the plot button. Let's try to press plot. So these are the dates from this date to that date. Let's see what our temperature ranges from 1st of January in my case to 10th of January. So let's put the month 01, 01 for the day. Again, the first one is the month, so let's put 01 for the month and 08 for the day. Press on plot. Right, so now you might get errors, but you have ChatGPT to ask for errors. So explain what you did and what you got as an error. I ran your program but got this error. A colon, shift enter, paste the error in the next line and press enter to submit your query to ChatGPT. And so ChatGPT tries to explain you what the problem is, and it also gives you the code you need to enter in your program, to type in your program, to update the program. Now, you can either search manually where you can put this code, or you can ask the chatbot, can you update the app with that change? And ChatGPT will give you the updated code with that patch implemented. So as you can see, using ChatGPT to build an app is an iterative process, so it's not like one question and one answer, but you have to keep communicating with ChatGPT like you do with a software developer, with a human. So humans can make errors, ChatGPT can also, but what's important is that ChatGPT can follow up with an excellent manner so that it can fix and update your programs. So it understands you and it gives you the updated code. So let's wait for the generation of the updated code and we give it another try on PyCharm. Now sometimes ChatGPT will lag, so it's currently in its early days. So in that case, now it stopped generating code. So in that case, you can go to your query, your last query, click that button and save and submit to submit the query again. So the code is generated, so I'll copy it and update the existing main.py file. So overwrite, run again. Now your code may be a bit different. What ChatGPT is generating for you will be slightly different from me. So my point here is to show you the way to use ChatGPT to build programs more than it is to show you these actual programs that we're building or its code. Yeah, let's try again. 01 for month, 01 for day, 23 for the year, and 1 for the month again, 8 for the day, 23 for the year. Show graph, there we go. So that's a graph of temperature. So not bad. As you can see, the power of ChatGPT in being able to follow up with you is incredible. It does make mistakes sometimes, as you saw, it produced some faulty code, but what's important is that it is able to actually update the code and understand the errors, and that gives you superpowers as a programmer. So if you're curious, I'm uploading this code in the lecture resources if you like to get my code and compare it with yours, but that's not the idea. As I mentioned already, the idea is to teach you how to use ChatGPT. So thanks for following. We still have some more lectures to do so that you have a very solid understanding of how to use ChatGPT in programming. So thanks, I'll see you in the next videos.